I'm going to speak on the laser part of dealing with varicose vein. It deals with my experience over the last 14 years. We and Shoaib Padaria was a cardiologist in Bombay. We started this treatment about 14 years back. As you know, that the varicose veins occur because of the regurgitation in the valves of the superficial venous system, and there are two sets of superficial veins. One is the short saphenous system, other one is the long saphenous system, and also there are perforating veins which connect the superficial veins to the deep veins. Varicose vein is not an uncommon problem. It occurs in about 10% of the population, and it's not difficult to find these sort of patients in general population who have various degrees of disease related to venous reflux, which could be just pigmentation, leg fatigue, leg pain, swelling, spider nevi, and other cosmetic problems, ulcers, a lot of things. So Dr. Amira has already dwelled upon. I'm going to speak on how we do the varicose vein treatment in our setting, especially in the cardiology setting. The diagnosis is based on a good ultrasound and Doppler study, which should be done both in lying down and standing position with and without Valsalva. Not only that, we need to diagnose varicose veins, we need to see which valves are refluxing, whether it's an extra-axial varicosity or an axial varicosity, and also we have to be very careful to rule out completely the evidence of deep vein thrombosis, which is the first contraindication for endovenous laser treatment. The various other treatment options have been discussed. I'm not going to go through prostatectomies and different types of surgical techniques and sclerotherapy. Now, how it is done, the concept is that a catheter is passed, the radiofrequency or a laser catheter is passed and into the long saphenous vein, great saphenous vein, and just below the saphenofemoral junction, and we keep it, bring it down by about 2 centimeter to about 4 centimeter below the saphenofemoral junction, and from there we start firing the laser energy. What it does, the laser immediately clots the blood, but that's a temporary phenomena. What it does is it delivers the energy which is absorbed by the endothelium and also by the venous wall, and this leads to a very intense inflammation which leads to remodeling and fibrosis of the vein in long term. During that time, we need to compress the veins so that the fibrosis is complete, and that is the most important determinant of a long-term success. We also should understand the physics behind the laser treatment. Not all varicose veins will respond similarly. Also, the fact how we can increase the venous injury without damaging the surrounding structures. And also the vein emptying procedure is a very important thing which we do. What we do is after we do an ultrasound, we mark the path of the vein and the valves on the skin. Then with the help of a Doppler guidance, we have an entry. Most of the people would take an entry around the knee joint, but normally I do all my cases with entry around the ankle. Very rarely, maybe in 5% of the patients, we need to open the vein near the ankle and then go up. Now, once we have the entry into the vein, which we do with a micropuncture set, we pass in a guide wire and then a hydrophilic catheter and exchange it with a bigger wire and a bigger sheath. And then we place our catheter just below the saphenofemoral junction, do an angiogram, which is, I think our center is the only center which does this procedure with an angiographic guidance, and not only guidance, we do a technique called a laser blast technique, which we published and which got selected as the best of the best abstract in the SKY meeting. Then we give, with the help of an ultrasound, we give a tumescent anesthesia all around the veins. What it does, it compresses the vein so that the venous wall comes in contact with the laser fiber. And also what it does, it acts like a cushion, surrounds the tissue around the vein from getting ablated and getting damaged. Then after we have done this with the ultrasound guidance, we mark the junction, and the laser fiber at the tip has a red light, so we are doubly sure that we are below the junction, We are also sure that by light, so that we are not, the catheter doesn't slip while we are doing it. And while we are doing it, we have the radiation protection goggles. I think that's Dr. Vinay Krishnan. We have started, I've helped about 16 centers to start this all over the country. This is in Kanpur, where we have started also doing this. This is the red light which sort of illuminates through the skin, and we know exactly where the tip of the laser fiber is, so that we are careful. We keep withdrawing the laser fiber, and assistant keeps compressing the vein over with the hand over this light, so that the vein is further emptied and it's approximated to the fiber. And then we do a gentle pull, and we keep firing the laser energy while we are doing it. Now this is mostly, as I told you, most of the people would do it without, just in the OPD setting or in the surgical setting without contrast, but we always use a contrast. So this is a entry into the vein. After that, we pass in a sheath, and then we give a shot, and we see, we mark the saphenofemoral junction. Giving a contrast also helps us delineate. If there are multiple veins, we can actually do one vein and then go into the accessory vein and do that as well. And it also gives us a complete proof that the vein is obstructed and completely thrombosed and narrowed at the end of the procedure. So once we have done this, we pass in a sheath and loaded with a fiber. So this is the sheath going up. And then we keep ablating. Once we do the main vein, we can also go, a lot of our perforators would come from the superficial vein and go to the deep vein. As you see, once we are doing it, you can find the bubbles and the clotting right angiographically. We can also see the entry point of the perforators. But bigger perforators can be done with the 200 micron fibers, done angiographically, and we can actually negotiate wires. The laser 200 micron fiber, which goes through a 16 or 18 French size needle, we go up to half the distance between the superficial and deep vein, and we can selectively ablate the perforators. If the veins are too tortuous, we can't get the catheter in, we use this procedure that we actually hold the tortuosity and pull them apart, so that that segment becomes straight, and then we keep pushing the catheter so that we can go right at the top. So angiography helps us in many ways. Then you can see somebody, this is not what we do always, this is just once the hand doesn't get exposed, we keep compressing, and this is the result which we get on the table. And the interesting fact is what we do as a laser blast technique, it is similar to the excimer laser in coronaries. You know, if you have deep, Antonio Colombo has shown, if you have very calcified lesion and you fill up the coronary arteries and then put the laser, it really creates a lot of blast effect. So the injury is much more, and it actually sort of, it gets absorbed in the vein, and many a times the vein even gets sort of extravasated. And this leads to such an intense reaction in the vein that almost always the vein occludes immediately, and fibrosis such strongly that the recurrence rates are very low. And this is what we published in our series, and this got accepted as the best of the best case in abstract in the SCAI meeting. So we have a complete occlusion of the veins. The residual veins and the perforating veins we treat in the same sitting, and many a times if we have to treat the extra axial varicosity or the remaining varicosity, we use the sclerotherapy like in this case. Now below knee also we go similarly in a downward direction, or maybe if we open the artery below, the vein below the ankle, we can treat everything in one go. And then we treat the short saphenous vein in the same way if that is also contributing to varicosities. So it is a similar procedure, so I'm going to skip these slides. I'll just take one more minute. And once we open the vein, many times we open a vein, a small segment, we can go up and treat the varicosities. We can reverse the sheath, and we can treat the varicosities with ulcers at the lower part also. So this we do very often. We use different sort of energies for different sizes of veins. So the advantages are it's an outpatient procedure. It is very quick and easy to perform. There is no scarring. Local anesthesia is sufficient, but that's very important how we give it, and it has excellent clinical results. This is my experience over last 14 years. We have done a total of about 6,018 cases, And this is over, we were very active initially in the days when I was working in Escorts. We have done about 4,000 great saphenous veins, about 1,500 short saphenous vein, about 1,500 combination. We have treated perforators in 783 patients and used sclerotherapy or adjunctive ligation in about 140 patients. These are different systems we have used, different sort of energies which we have used. And interestingly, the DVT rate is very low. Pain is a very common phenomenon. It's less with the RF ablation, but it usually responds to local local application of analgesic creams or simple paracetamol or ibuprofen. There is a very low incidence of swelling which subsides. Ecchymosis also occurs in about 15% of patients, but it resolves, and there has been no pulmonary embolism. We have done duplex scan follow-up at 6 months in most of our patients. At least 70% of our patients which we have done, and at 6 months the patency, the occlusion rate is 97%, and at 12 months we could follow less than half of the patients. We had a 94% exclusion. This is the result of my some of my pre and post patients. The result is very gratifying, although it takes time it's not an immediate improvement, it takes few weeks for this improvement to occur. So in conclusion, endovenous laser is a unique day care solution for venous varicosities and different degrees of venous incompetence. It is being used now by cardiologists who are transforming into vascular interventionalists and entering into the domain of vascular surgeons and interventional radiologists, and now also into cosmetic surgeons field. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Khanna. Now I request Dr. Amira, kindly come to the desk, please. Dr. Amira, for the question answer.
Dr. Khanna, are there any guidelines for selecting the cases in your series, or say if a person is diabetic and other problems are there?
The first guideline is that you should have a varicose vein, you should have no DVT. The DVT has to be excluded, the valves, refluxing valves should be there, and the patient should be symptomatic unless we are doing it for a cosmetic reason.
You have done more than 6,000 cases. What are the complications that you have encountered?
I told you, I showed in that slide, the most major complication is the DVT, but it is very, very rare. It occurred only in 17% of our patients. We do anticoagulate patients for 2 to 3 days after the procedure. The other common complications which we say are pain and ecchymosis. These two are there, but that is, the laser has more pain, more ecchymosis, but at the same time it is delivering more energy, so the recurrence rate is much lower.
Has there been any failure in such cases?
Yes.
Most of 6,000. So what is the failure rate approximately?
The failure rate is about 1%, and the failure rate is related to two things. One, giving inadequate energy, and if you are not, for us it's less because we are angiographically following this. We are seeing it that on the table the vein has occluded completely and it has narrowed and there is a thrombus which is formed. The second failure rate is that we are missing out on perforators while we are treating it or on a short saphenous vein territory. And the third one is if you are just doing above the knee, we are not doing varicosities from ankle upwards, then there is a failure rate. And the fourth one is if the patient is not wearing pressure stockings for 2 to 3 months. Again, that's one of the determinants of failure.
Last thing that is very important for, I think, the forum is that we get so many cases of varicose veins. So which are the cases currently that you would recommend should go for sclerotherapy, for foam, or for laser?
I think that Dr. Amira should answer that question.
How would we practically decide that which case is suitable for laser or for foam or for surgical sclerosis?
It would be better to do a laser or surgery for the patient who had the diameter of truncal vein and more than 5 millimeters. And for the less than 5 millimeter, it's better to do ultrasound guided foam sclerotherapy.
If a person has got on both sides varicose veins, will you do it in one sitting or you'll wait for some other time?
Yeah, I always do it in one sitting. One sitting, both great saphenous vein, short saphenous vein, and perforators. There's no point. Initially, we started doing as separate sittings, but there's no point doing it. Then it loses the main purpose of doing, it's an outdoor procedure, the patient comes in and walks out in an hour's time. Only patients who are insured, it is mandatory that they stay for 1 day, that's why they are there. Otherwise, they are all discharged after 1 hour.
Thank you, sir. One question.
One last, more of a comment. Your question was which patient to do surgery on or laser on. If it is a failure of laser or radiofrequency or foam, surgery would definitely be the choice. Primarily, if you have the facilities, now the randomized evidence has come indicating that if you are good at surgery or laser, the results at the end of 2 years, 1 or 2 years, the results of well done surgery and laser are equivalent. RF is as much there. Initial advantage of RF is that it's less painful, less ecchymosis. But failure rates are slightly higher, may not be significantly higher with RF, but they are slightly higher. That's the current state of affairs. But
And I think vein size more than 7 millimeter is again one of the indications that it should definitely go for surgery. The lasers do not work very well.
Publicly acceptance of the laser is better, I think.
Yes, it is
Publicly.
much better because there is no surgery.
Yes, definitely.